All right, 3, 2, 1. What's going on? Mr. Brennan from Outreach, serious quota crusher. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, let's first start with the triple whammy. Here we go. 1, how was your day? 2, what are you drinking? And 3, what did you learn today?
Oh my
Boom.
gosh.
Boom,
Hit
boom,
me with the
boom.
fire questions right off the bat. So, first one, how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic, Mark. Thank you for asking. Today, I actually had a hat trick on the phone, so I'm in a very, very good mood.
Wow,
Those are hard to come by as an SDR, but
that's beast.
when that happens, man, you have to be in a good mood. You got to be smiling all day long.
That's right.
Something I learned today, interesting question. Sometimes it's hard to sit back and think about that. But I think one thing that sticks out to me uh, was a conversation I had with one of my enterprise account executives today when I was syncing up with him.
Yeah.
He really dropped some knowledge on me about how buyers really think and what they want out of a salesperson.
Yeah.
The buyer really wants to be able to trust you and like you as a
Yeah.
salesperson for them to even potentially implement your product.
Serious.
So that really sticks out to me just because I don't hear that too often, right? Like we're SDRs, we're talking about the top of the funnel most of the time, where we're having 2 to 3 conversations, maybe a little bit more than that, and then passing it off to these account executives. So just hearing the fact that when I make that next jump to an account executive role, I need to start thinking about building longer term relationships and start thinking of creative ways to do that as an SDR. So maybe that could be along the lines of digging deeper into one of the prospects' pain points.
Yeah.
And then providing him with some solutions or some ideas for him. You know what I mean? So kind of building that bridge and building that trust as an SDR is not something that I've thought of before. So that's something that I'm going to start doing more of as I move forward into the promotion track.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, let's get to the serious question. What are you drinking?
Oh, shoot. Well, you mentioned the triple whammy. I'm going to bring the double whammy to you. I have 2 drinks for us tonight. I have the Highball Peach, and these are healthy alternatives to energy drinks, and they're usually in Outreach HQ
Non-alcoholic.
fridges. Non-alcoholic.
So this is what is driving you guys to be a unicorn, to be one of the top SDR teams in the world. This folksy energy drink. You really you believe in this stuff, huh?
100%. If you ask Dylan Fletcher, this is 100% the move. This is what's powering Outreach right now. Is the Highball energy drinks. So, I mean, these are just great, man. They're a healthy alternative to energy drinks. Like I said, they have ginseng instead of caffeine. Excuse me. And this is a peach flavor. I usually get the lime in the office.
Ooh.
But the second drink I got, man, is the H2O.
Yep.
And
high-powered H2O.
Oh, high-powered H2O. This is some special water right here. Like Waterboy, ever seen that movie?
Of course.
You have to pray over this water.
Adam Sandler. You a big Adam Sandler fan?
Huge Adam Sandler fan.
Happy Gilmore. What do you think about that movie?
I've seen it once.
What?
I mean, it's a funny movie.
Favorite Adam Sandler movie? Waterboy?
Waterboy, hands down.
All right. Big fan. Old Adam Sandler's great.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. But yeah, man, this keeps me hydrated all day long. I was introduced to this water by one of my coworkers, Justin Wright, and it's just different, man. It's 9.5 pH levels, and it just tastes different. It tastes so much better.
So many levels. Almost at a 10.
Almost. What are you drinking, man?
I have got a Mammoth Brewing Double Nut Brown, and I've got an enormous mountain of water. You got to stay hydrated in this life.
You have to.
And I live at 8,000 feet, and it's super dry here. So getting dehydrated is a serious thing. So if you're going to have a double nut brown, you got to back it up with a little agua.
Have to.
So Brennan, talk to me about your numbers. Where are you at this month? COVID, a lot of things up in the air. Where are you at?
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking. It has been tough, but my quota month over month is 9 sales accepted leads. So that's a meeting that holds with an account executive, and then they're going to work it as a qualified op. So
Okay, cool.
I'm currently sitting at 11. I've been
Boom.
sitting there for the last few days now, so I've been working pretty hard to start building for May.
Yeah. Do you have anything left in your pipeline, or are you sandbagging right now? Do you have like you got 4 meetings lined up for June? I mean for May.
For May, I have a few set up for May. Yeah.
Boom.
But I have one running tomorrow as well. So
Oh, come on.
Let's go.
So
Let's hit 12.
that puts you at 12. That's beast mode.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm having the worst month I think I've ever had. And
Oh my gosh.
it's been terrible. I've been sending people free stuff, no responses. I don't know what's going on. It is bone dry in my land, and really hoping that May picks up, or else things are going to get weird around here. So, all right. So 9 Sal, you call them a Sal or Sal?
They're called sales accepted leads. Call them sales. Yeah.
Sals.
Sales.
All right. So have you been hitting 9 since you've been at Outreach?
Yeah. So I'll give you the background lay of the land of how I started Outreach. I came in as an intern last June. Graduated from the sales and marketing department at.
Okay, well, hold on. What does an intern at Outreach do? Like drink highballs and scrape leads? What does that mean?
Oh, I was drinking 3 highballs a day, scraping leads, and calling for some of the SDRs.
Wait. You're calling? So, all right, walk me through this. What is this role?
So I was actually the guinea pig of the internship at Outreach. I was one of the first interns ever.
That's cool.
This was last summer. So,
all right.
I mean, I found this online randomly. I graduated from Western Michigan.
Yeah.
Flew out to Seattle, started this internship, and my first day on the job, I was like, "Wow, I can see myself in tech sales." But yeah, just to like break down what I was doing as an intern, man, I was literally like doing exactly what you just said, scraping leads, calling on an event that Brooke Bachesta was putting on called Own Your Pipeline.
Wow.
That was a Seattle sales event. So I was driving attendees to that.
Yeah.
On top of that, I was getting assigned to some of the SDRs to help call on their accounts. So every week there was an MVP that the team would vote on, and whoever won, they would get the intern of the week.
Wow.
And then I would help them the following week with all the prospecting efforts.
That's incredible. What did you study? What did you study at Western Mich? Is it Western Michigan? What's the lingo?
The lingo is WMU.
Oh, okay. Way off.
Western. I studied sales and marketing.
They have like a legit sales program.
They have a legit sales program, and
is it more marketing focused, or is it like legit like this is sales?
It was a legit sales program. I got my degree in sales. There's probably a handful of these programs throughout the country.
That's insane.
So yeah, I'll kind of walk you through what I was doing there. But when I came onto campus, I was a community college transfer, and I was thinking supply chain was my route when I got on campus at Western Michigan.
You just knew. You were all, I'm a supply chain guy.
Yeah. No, I went to one of their campus events.
Yeah.
And it was just not for me. I did not get along with some of those kids. So I just knew like that was not for me after that.
Yeah.
And after that event, I was approached by one of my buddies who I met off campus in sports. And he said I should go to an SBMA event, which is like the sales and business marketing event on campus.
Yeah.
And I went to this, and I got along with everyone.
Yeah.
Because they're all salespeople. They all want to talk and have fun.
Yeah, totally.
So I knew right then and there, I was like, yeah, I'm going to the sales program. So the following semester, which was my second semester on campus, I immediately made that transfer over from supply chain into sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And a lot of these sales classes were literally like what we do in a job today. So we were doing a lot of cold calling role plays.
Really?
We were setting up fake meetings, I guess you could say, with our professor as the prospect. Wow. That was like some of the first
That's fantastic
introductory classes. And then after that, we would go into like how to structure meetings, how to
Really?
overcome objections.
Oh my gosh, you were primed
Yeah, yeah.
for this intern role.
And that second semester, we actually had a sales lab built out for us. So we had video uh, monitors and video
What?
cameras like recording us.
No
So
way.
we can go back and watch like how we did and grade ourselves and how other team members grade us.
Wow.
Um,
WMU
yes, sir.
doing it right. That's incredible.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I don't think I've ever heard of a actual sales program at a university.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty rare. I know University of Washington has like a sales certificate. I think you take like a class to get
Yeah,
that. But yeah, I took 4 or 5 different sales classes at Western, and
that's awesome.
I definitely think it prepared me. But
Oh, definitely.
I think you learn the most when you're in the trenches doing it, though,
Oh my
in the real
gosh.
world.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't get past real world. But I mean, when I came into sales, like right out of college, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is ridiculous. They sat me down in front of a computer with the referral email, and they were like,
Mm.
get 8 meetings out of this a month. I was like, what? You're going to tell me to send this one template email that says, can you refer me to this person? And I was supposed to hit 8 meetings a month. This makes zero sense. This is a joke. So I don't know. Probably did set you up for success.
Yeah, and I think what it really did for me was set a foundation of what I'm going to expect in my sales career.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't like, oh, I'm a sales graduate. I'm going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It was, here's what you're going to expect in a sales career. And if you want to get to a certain point in your sales career, here's what you
Yeah.
need to do. And
Yeah.
here's who you should follow. And here's some of the tactics that you should bring along with you. So a lot of our professors were like striker sales reps throughout their
Huh.
career.
Interesting.
2 of them own their own sales consulting gigs. So,
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of good experience in there that I learned from. But like I said, I think where you learn the most is in the trenches, making the calls with actual
Yeah.
prospects.
Wow, that's awesome. So, okay, so you're an intern. How do you get to where you're at today from an intern in outreach land?
Yeah, man. I would say bluntly, just putting in the work. Like I said, that first day on the job as an intern, I just knew like tech sales and that environment was for me.
Yeah.
And then I just put everything that I could into it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from there, I started talking to my managers like, hey, I want to stay here. I want to work here.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do to get the offer,
Okay.
And
So
so I started.
you have to legitimately graduate from. It's not like you're an intern, you're going to be an SDR. You have to like actually you have to like, do you have to apply for the job? Like, how does it work?
I guess the internship I was the guinea pig, man. That was the first
Okay.
internship program.
Okay.
So I guess you could say that was my tryout to get the full-time role.
Yeah. Very cool.
But to get the internship, I was definitely going through the same rounds of interviews that other like actual SDRs were doing. How I got to where I am today, man, I would say overperforming for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Going from the intern to an enterprise SDR, breaking into these large accounts, talking
Mm-hmm.
to CROs and VPs of sales
Mm-hmm.
at these companies with 5,000 plus employees.
Yeah.
Like literally overperforming and showing your directors and managers that you're willing to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like not just talking about it, but actually doing it and putting the numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah, and how do you do that day in, day out without getting super burned out? Like I feel like that's just so hard to just keep going and keep going and keep going. It's like you just got to ask yourself, like, am I in the right place? Am I selling the right tool? Like, there's a lot going on there.
There is so much going on in your mind 10 months into the SDR role. It's not even funny, man. I completely agree with you there. The burnout is real. I've experienced it several times.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I like to manage that burnout is really just to take the weekends off. If I know, you have to be self-aware too, right? You got to be self-aware of if it's actually there. And you'll know when it's there because you have a bunch of negative thoughts in your head. Your body feels horrible. And you're not believing in yourself.
All right, take the weekend off. That seems like a pretty basic one to me. Like, is there a lot of people at Outreach that work on the weekends? Were you working on the weekends?
I was one of the ones working on the weekends when I first started.
So
and I still
what are you
do
doing on the weekend?
occasionally.
Like prospecting primarily?
Yeah, on the weekends I would do a lot of research, account research,
Okay.
and finding some personalized information on my prospects that I could follow up with and use that to start a conversation with them.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say I stopped doing that, but I was more aware of like how that's affecting me and my body as I progressed through the SDR role.
Yeah.
And I knew that was taking a toll.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really helping me move towards the desired goal or quota, I guess you could say.
Sure.
It was more so saying I was working on the weekends, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Or saying that, I'm an efficient rep because I work every day or something along those lines. So
Yeah.
I definitely take the time now to, have the Saturday to myself,
It's
go
good.
snowboarding,
It's good.
go on a run, go to boxing class.
That's awesome.
It's very important.
I feel like exercise is such a big part of success in sales and success in anything. But I'm a huge believer in fresh air and just getting your heart rate way up there and just like blasting yourself and then coming back and you just feel like so like the times when I go work out really hard are often also times when I come up with really random ideas.
Yep.
Like, whoa, like didn't see that one coming. Didn't get that one while I was at my desk for the past 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How are you getting that done today though, with everything going on in the world? How are you getting your heart rate up?
Yeah, so I'm lucky enough to be living in the mountains and I'm on my mountain bike all the time.
There you go.
Love trail running. I've been signing up for these weird things. Like I had a buddy a couple weeks ago, last week, who was like, "Hey, do you want to do this 29K vert challenge?" So we had to do 29,000 feet of vert, like Everest. So like climbing Everest, but from like sea level in a week. And so I was spending like way too much time on my bike doing like 8,000 feet of vert a day on my bike. And it's like ridiculous. But I don't know. I've been an SDR for a while now, and like I'm a firm believer in like work-life balance, and you got to treat yourself definitely in the long run. And I think doing that heaps success in the future. When I first started as an SDR, I worked a ton. Like I was like the 12-hour guy.
Yep.
And then I got super burned out. But yeah, it's real. So that's crazy. I wanted to switch gears a little bit and kind of talk to you or really ask you about like, what are some of your keys to success? Like, what are the top things that are like putting you at the top of the stack rank?
Interesting. Okay. I think it comes down to 3 things, Mark. And feel free to dive into them.
Yeah.
After I like go over them, but
I will.
I think I think the first thing is prioritization. The second thing, mindset. And then the third thing, adapting to processes and learning from people before me. So the first one, prioritization, really prioritizing who I'm going after and what I'm saying.
Okay.
So something that I think I do differently than most is I'm going to be spending my time mostly on the prospects that I know that I can get into really, really good conversations with if they're open to it, if they're open to speaking, right?
Yeah. So quality over quantity. Like, 100%. Exactly who you're going after.
100%.
And what does that look like for you? Like who's like your ICP for where you're at? Is it a sales development leader? How does that look?
Yeah, it really just depends on a lot of information. So, I prioritize people based on a few different things, right? I'll prioritize them on a referral basis. If they are connected with someone, I want to focus on that person. So I know a referral trumps all.
Yeah. Okay.
Referral trumps everything.
Yeah.
Especially
is that internal referral, or is that like a referral you've gotten from a customer or somebody inside of outreach?
Yeah, it's mostly internal referrals. So like my VP of marketing's connected with this sales development leader at X company.
All right. So you're leveraging connections.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now more so than ever with everything going on, right? Like people are so uncertain. They're so scared to make decisions and hear people out that they're not connected with, that they don't know anything about. They want to talk to someone that's trustworthy. So having that bridge right there is really strong in today's world. So I'm going to focus on those referrals first and foremost.
Yep.
Secondly, I want to find some personalized nuggets that I can use in my outreach, to no pun intended, in my prospecting efforts to the prospect. So anything on their LinkedIn that mentions like value props that we can support, like obviously we're selling to sales leaders, so if something on their LinkedIn mentions sales and marketing alignment, or oversees a team of 30 reps who are outbound prospecting and managing pipeline, those are all juicy nugget information pieces that I can use in my personalized outreach to them.
Okay. And are you leading with an email? Do you lead with a call, with a LinkedIn request? Once you find that personal information, like what do you do with it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for the listeners who aren't really familiar with a sequence or a cadence, it's really just a series of touch points that can be automated or manual. So it just depends on what I'm finding on these prospects, right? So 95% of the time, I'm writing a manual personalized email.
Okay.
And then attaching a sequence to that.
Okay. Got it.
And that sequence is a series of 4 automated emails, 2 manual emails.
Oh wow. Okay.
2 messages on LinkedIn, a LinkedIn follow, and a sprinkled in 4 or 5 calls potentially.
Dang.
That's my guesstimate.
All right. So I want to break this down even further. So 2 manual emails. So your first manual email is the one you're doing a lot of. It's super high touch. You're doing the personalization. The second manual email, like what are you doing there? That's where I get stuck. Like, all right, I'm gonna do some personalization for email 1, and then I'm like, I'm over it, dude. Next, auto.
Yeah, I would say for the second manual email, I'm doing my best to push content in front of them.
Got it.
Right. I'm not going for that hard ask.
Okay.
I'm going for the education aspect.
Gotcha.
Like, look, I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. I'm here to help.
So you're leading with an ask. The first email is an ask.
100%. Yeah. Okay. And something that I've been focused on recently is lightening my ask. So not making it a do you have some time to meet next week Thursday? It's more of a are you open to learning more?
Huh. Okay.
Is it a bad idea?
Is that COVID related?
Not necessarily. It's something that I've learned from other greats like Josh Braun or Chris Voss. Those are that's a hostage negotiator. I follow them pretty heavily.
Cool.
But like some of the psychology behind some of those things that I've learned has definitely helped. I haven't A/B tested any of it. We are A/B testing the Chris Voss negotiation ask right now, which is it a bad idea to sync up next Thursday to discuss this further? So you're triggering a no instead of a yes.
Whoa.
That's something that I've been trying, and I do it on the phone all the time in my asks to meet. And we can get into that. We can get into that a little bit later, or if you want to do it now, I can touch on it.
Let's break it to me right now.
Let's do it. So what I noticed prior to stumbling across Chris Voss and his hostage negotiation tactics were I was asking for people's time without even uncovering value. And everyone that cold calls my prospects, there's a lot of software companies out there that call salespeople, and it's always the same ask. Do you have some time to meet,
Totally.
next Wednesday? And I wanted to find something new, right? And the thing that I found new is this Chris Voss guy, hostage negotiator. And I have a feeling this is going to catch on pretty quickly, and something new is going to come out as well. But
love it.
Essentially what he talks about and what I really love is the ability to trigger a no. So triggering a no is going to allow the prospect to trust you and have them open up and tell you why they're saying no or why they're saying yes. So they're going to dive into it deeper. So one of the asks that I like to say after my pitch, it'll be something like this, like, Mark, is it a bad idea to sync up and discuss this further on, let's say Monday?
It's a terrible idea.
Is that your objection to me?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. No.
So
super interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's different. I haven't heard that before.
So what I found by using it is they're either going to say one of two things: yes, and then tell you why it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or they're going to say no. Like I had a call today, one of them that I booked on my hat trick today.
Hold on.
He said,
all right, we're going on a lot of tangents, but you got to go on this tangent. What is a hat trick?
A hat trick is 3 meetings booked in one day.
That's tight.
Yes, sir.
What do you do to celebrate a hat trick? Does like a bomb go off in your house and on the outreach screen? Like what happens?
Well, when you first start outreach, everyone praises you, but when you get a lot of them, it's kind of just like it's expected.
Cool. Got another hat trick, Brennan. Sweet.
Actually, one of my coworkers today just broke one of the records, enterprise records. Yeah.
What's that? What'd he do?
He broke the sale record for 1 month.
What?
Yeah.
This is like the worst month of sales ever. How many did he get?
He got, I think it was 21.
Oh my.
He should be your next podcast guest, eh?
Yeah, why are you on here? JK. Anyhow, all right. So I don't even remember what we were talking about. The ask, the if not, then.
Yeah, the Chris Voss thing that I learned and I've been implementing. Triggering a no. So essentially, when you ask is it a terrible idea? Is it a bad idea? You're going to get one of two answers: a yes, it's a bad idea, and they're going to tell you why. They're going to go on. You can handle the real objection, and then, or it's no, it's a great idea. Like, and then they're going to tell you like another objection potentially.
Yeah.
But then you can use that against them and be like, you thought it was a great idea, like,
yeah,
something along the lines of that. But I booked one today, and I was like 5 minutes into the call, and he gave me a few objections. I was handling those, understanding them, and then I was like, is it a bad idea to sync up next Thursday and just like discuss this further with you and your colleagues?
He's like, super relaxed like that.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I think it's very relevant, and we can continue this conversation.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. That's so good.
So, I mean, that's just one thing that I've been trying. I'm a guy who likes to try and test and see what sticks. So
yeah, not a lot of people are like that. Like what got you to that mindset? Like I need to try new weird things. Is it like leadership at outreach? Is it like a mentor that you have? Like I'm like that, but the majority of people that are in sales, I think, do not have that mindset because you have to grind every day. And to test and try and do all these different things takes you away from the task at hand, right?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely leadership and the culture at outreach.
Yeah.
It's definitely always be learning environment.
That's cool.
Always be curious. And I think it's a little bit of my upbringing too, right? Like my parents are both small business owners, and at heart they're salespeople. Even though they're not.
What kind of businesses do they own?
Yeah, so my mom owned a dance studio for 15 years. She started it.
Wow.
and she grew that from like, I think it was like 50 dancers to 400 dancers.
Oh my gosh.
And then my dad, he's owned a heating and cooling, residential and commercial HVAC business
Wow.
for the last, he's going on 30 years in 2021, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's been doing that, and that's kind of where I grew up. I grew up in the heating and cooling business.
Dang.
But I think through that upbringing, I just always saw my parents like wanting to learn more and wanting to do more.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you do that is by, opening up and just being curious. So I think that's why I've always been like, I think it's a natural trait for salespeople as well, right? Like we're always
maybe some.
okay.
Maybe those at Outreach. I don't know. I've worked with a lot of salespeople, and I know the lot of them aren't curious. A lot of people are just out there getting their paycheck and following, doing whatever the best person is doing.
I would have to agree with you on that. In terms of like all the content webinars that are out there, though, you see a lot of people signing up for those and wanting to learn. So that's what I was like getting at. But yeah, I'm just a guy who's like going to spend my time trying to get better and improve in any way I can. So whether that's learning from people on my team, or learning from webinars and podcasts, I'm just, that's just how I'm structured.
Yeah. Is there someone that you have learned? I know for me, like my first sales trainer came in. I don't even think he was that big at that point. It was John Barrows. He came in. This is a company I was working at selling HR technology. And he came in and he was like, you need to personalize, and you need to do this, and you need to take ownership. And I went from like nothing to like destroying my quota. Like, has there been someone in your life that has really like turned the table for you, or really helped you like get to where you want to be?
I would say yes. That person, I believe, I think I know where you're going with this. So I would say the person that's helped me out the most to improve my game and improve my SDR skills would be Dylan Fletcher. I was always, for some reason, I've always been natural on the phones when reaching out to people. I've had great conversations, able to, talk through scenarios, give some stories, handle some objections. Where I lacked the most was my copywriting and email structure. So that person that's helping the most is Dylan Fletcher.
That's not a lot of people like that. I feel like a lot of people are like naturally good behind a computer and a keyboard, but when they get on the phone, they're like,
oh yeah. And yeah, Dylan's definitely helped me out the most.
Who's Dylan? Is he at Outreach, or how do you know Dylan? Who's Dylan?
Dylan Fletcher is a small business emerging segment SDR manager here at Outreach.
Okay.
He was my first manager, I guess you could say, in the real world after I graduated.
Shout out to Dylan.
Yeah, shout out to D Fletch for sure. He's a New York Yankees and a Jets fan.
D Fletch.
He really brought my email game to the next level, and that's helped me tremendously with setting meetings, negotiating, just really handling objections over email if they don't like to talk over the phone. And it's definitely driven my numbers way through the roof just because of that.
That's awesome. What percentage would you say like of your meetings come? I don't know if you know this, but like off the top of your head, meetings that come from like phone versus email versus LinkedIn, like where do you feel like you shine the most, or like where stuff comes from?
Yeah, for me personally, I would say 85 to 90% of my meetings are coming from the phones.
85.
And we'll sprinkle in the last 10 to 15% with emails and LinkedIn.
Oh my God. All right, hold on. All right. One of the top performers at Outreach. Like people, all right, cold calling is dead, whatever. 85 to 90% of your meetings are coming on the phone. Do you think that has anything to do with like being in like selling to salespeople, or like your natural tendency onto the phone? Like what do what would you attribute that to? Or do you just make more dials than you send emails?
Yeah, I would attribute it to a few different things. I would say calling salespeople is definitely, I wouldn't say an easier task, but they feel for you, right? They've had that role prior. They know what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So having a conversation about their sales process, and some of the challenges that they have in their organization is definitely something that I can relate to as a sales rep, and then he can relate to as well, right? Because those are his challenges, and I get to explain to him and educate him on what we solve for. On the flip side, though, I definitely think I have some unique characteristics and habits that definitely help me exceed that number every month. So I would say the biggest thing that sets me apart from the pack is my follow-up game.
Talk to me. That follow-up game, dude. I mean, outreach has got to be the king of the follow-up game, but break it down. Like, what are you doing?
All right, let's dig into it. So it really just depends, though, man, on the scenario. But you're not going to book a meeting every single time you reach out to a prospect.
Sure.
Fair and simple. Like, you're not. And you have to understand that as an SDR, right? You have to understand that. The follow-up is probably the most important thing in sales.
Come on.
It is 100% the most important thing.
Come on, dude.
And that's where outreach comes into play. First of all, it's going to manage your follow-up for you. But just because you have a technology in place to do that does not mean the rep is actually going to do it. What I'm specifically doing is, let's say I get off the phone with you, Mark. You're one of my prospects. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to wait 20. Let's say you said no, not interested.
Sure.
Let's say it's a quick 10-second like phone call, not interested, hang up, which happens all the time. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to wait 24 hours. I'm going to send an email with your first name - thanks for speaking, or thanks for hanging up, like kind of like sarcastic, like funny.
Yeah.
And then what I'm going to do in that email is I'm going to make sure I have a shit ton of personalized information on his company and what they're focused on and what they can be doing better at and what I've found just on him and like on how we can help. I am going to shove so much information in his face that he's going to be like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
You may or may not get a response.
Yeah.
You may or may not.
Hold on. So, all right. So 24 hours, is this a template like that you send out? Do you always set a follow-up task? What's like your process for doing this every time?
Yeah, it's just whenever I get a phone call with the not interested, I'm going to be setting a one-off task for myself to write this email.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend good time. If I know he's a good hot prospect, he or she, I'm going to spend some time on this because I'm engaged. He knows my name.
Yeah.
He or she knows my name.
Yeah. I'm
engaged, and I want to make sure that follow-up is on point because I want to talk to this person again.
Yeah.
And I want them to know me and hear me out this time.
And the personalization you're doing, is it company specific? Is it kind of what you were talking about when you're doing that initial LinkedIn? Like what kind of personalization are you doing at this point?
Yeah, it could be anything from the information I already found on his company and what I was going to pitch him on the call.
Got it.
Or it could be anything on their 10K reports, a podcast this person was on.
Yep.
That they're hiring, not so much right now. A lot of sales reps are being furloughed, but
sure.
Anything that aligns with how we can help.
Gotcha.
I want to use that, not against them. I want to use that to show them that I know what the company is going through and I know where they're headed, right? So what I'm going to do after that first email is I'm going to attach a sequence or a cadence.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is it's going to manage my follow-up for me.
Yeah.
But I'm a guy who's heavy on the phones, and I'm going to talk to this person again. So what I want to do is I want to tag this person as a hot prospect.
Okay.
So in outreach or in a sales engagement platform or in your CRM, whoever's listening, you want to tag this person. They are engaged whether they said no or not. You cannot take the first no as a not interested. It's just a not right now. But they never told you why. So the follow-up that I'm going to be doing on you, Mark, is really to uncover more information.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep calling you and emailing you until I can get more information on the no. Because a no is nothing.
Are you nervous when you're making that call because the guy hung up on you? Like, what's going? Are you just like feisty? Like, what's going on? What's in your mind?
I would say I'm a very direct, aggressive, feisty, I guess is the word. But I'm hungry, man. Like, I'm
That's
hungry.
awesome.
Like this guy told me no. I don't like being told no.
Yeah.
Tell me the why behind the no.
Yeah. Is that what you ask when you get him on the phone? Like,
Well,
what's the
dude,
conversation?
that's not what I ask, but I just want to know the reason behind the no. That kind of sounds weird now that I think about it. But so let's say I get you on the phone 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
On the follow-up. That conversation is going to look a little bit different. Usually,
Sure.
I'll get some laughs.
Really?
That I'm following up. I'll get some nasty remarks that, hey, I told you like not to call me. Yeah, I spoke with you 2 weeks ago. How you doing? Some happy people, some people that are, they want to chat.
Yeah.
But that conversation is ultimately that I'm not pitching them at that point. They know who I am.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they're very busy and they just forgot. So I'm going to remind them.
Yeah.
But that conversation is essentially to show them that I am a sales professional and I do my job to a T and I do follow up. And the beautiful thing about that, Mark, is these sales guys, they have sales teams that don't follow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it blows their mind and that kind of impresses them.
Yeah, they're trapped.
And it really impresses them. So when I was on the small business segment or the emerging segment, everyone on our team in the emerging segment was getting job offers like once a week. I swear, me, Kyle, Mark Mashofsky, Laura Hissler, all of us, like, we were getting job offers like probably once a week, I swear.
Wow.
Just because we were like, our sales excellence was through the roof, right? Like we were taught a certain process and we're following it.
Yeah.
Outreach is obviously helping us, but
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I would say how I separate myself from the follow-up though is I definitely I don't take that first hard no hang up as serious. And a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
you probably can attest to that. A lot of people don't call them back ever or don't even email or only stick to email or LinkedIn because they're so scared to call them back.
I can tell you that I've put people back into follow-up sequence, whatever it is, gone to make the call and then been like skip step because I was just scared of making that call. Because I'm like, dude, they're just going to hang up on me again or like whatever. But it's like how you go into that call and like the mindset that you're going into that call, which I think is what you're doing different is like you just like I can like kind of feel it. You just have this like I don't give a rip. Like we're gonna get on the phone and something's gonna happen, but we're gonna get on the phone and you're gonna tell me something. Like you're not escaping.
I guess if you put it that way, that's exactly how I'm thinking. It's like I want to know what's going on there. I can help you with a solution if there's an actual problem that we can solve for. And believe it or not, like every sales organization has the problem that we can solve for. So it's just about guiding that conversation and finding that is the challenge, right? For SDRs all across the board, is having those conversations and digging into the specific pain point that we're looking for.
Yeah.
But overcoming those barriers of people that aren't welcoming of sales calls or cold calls is just a challenge. But I've been fortunate enough where like I have my own follow-up process, and
Mm-hmm.
have I pissed some people off before? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I
Yeah.
have. But I think the reason that I do it is because I want to impress them. I want to impress my prospect because I'm literally calling salespeople.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna get off the phone and like rip 3 dials on them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna forget about them. They are gonna be a hot prospect for me.
Yeah, and I like what you said about impressing the prospect. And I think maybe that has to do with selling to salespeople, but I mean everybody's getting sold to. Like whatever industry you're in, I sell to customer experience people. Like no matter who you are, you're getting sold to. So I'm just gonna say, if that's an objection to like your success, I don't think it's that real. But the mindset I think is killer. Like it's really hard to do that. One thing that I was thinking of is in your follow-up game is how many how many calls are like kind of tapered into that sequence that you do.
So I would say roughly between 3 and 6, but like I said, I'm gonna be tagging that prospect
Yeah.
as a hot lead. So what I'm going to be doing there is I'm going to be calling them more than usual outside of the sequence or cadence.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be calling them during my call blitzes.
Okay.
Which a call blitz for us internally here at Outreach is essentially a time period for us all to come together as an organization and call together.
Mm-hmm.
And we have data that shows us that this is the best time to call based on connect rates.
That's tight.
So yeah, it's pretty fun. But my call blitz people are usually my hottest leads, my hottest prospects.
Gotcha.
And a person that tells me no, a person that says to follow up in 3 months when really I want to talk to them in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Again, like
okay.
Like those are my hottest prospects because they know my name.
Yeah.
They know my name and they know I'm on. They know that they're on my radar.
Yeah.
So I have a separate to answer your question, I have a separate like tagging list that I go through for that.
Okay. Okay. So outreach call blitz. Kind of curious. How are you guys doing it like right now? Are you guys still doing those, even though everyone's remote?
We are. So there's a guy on my team, Travis James, very good friend of mine. He's from Michigan as well, and he is a guy who is leading the organization's call blitzes. So there's actually quite a few like manual things that go into it. So he's doing a lot of like reporting and seeing when the best times to call our prospects are based on the data that we have.
That's cool.
And then on top of that, we have some spiffs that are running right now, which is pretty exciting. That gets everyone fired up,
That's
right?
Hot. That's a good time to get good time to get a hat trick then.
Oh yeah, he's managing the call blitzes. So,
Very cool.
or excuse me, he's managing the point system was what I was trying to say. And the point system is based on like who you set up a meeting with. Was it a VP level? Was it a management level?
Okay.
And all of that. So
very interesting. Very interesting. So I kind of wanted to backtrack because we got on like 1,000 tangents. But I asked
we
you,
sure did.
I asked you keys to success, and we got to number 1, which was prioritization. You had 2 other ones that I'd love to expand on.
Yeah, I think one more thing on top of the prioritization is your calendar. We don't have to dive.
You one of those calendar guys? Like you block off like every minute?
Yeah, I'm looking at my calendar right now. Actually, obviously the podcast is on this, but I have my morning routine.
Okay.
And it's blocked off between 5 and 6. But sometimes I'll wake up around 5:30. Sometimes I'll wake up around 7. Like it just depends on like how late my night was.
Yeah.
My morning routine consists of this.
Okay. Is this on your calendar?
It's on my I'm reading it right now.
Oh my God. All right. Break it to me.
Morning routine. Affirmation cards. First thing when I wake up.
What is okay? All right. You can keep going, or we can talk about what an affirmation card is.
All right. Second thing, get ready for the day. Shower. Get
That's
dressed
on your
up.
calendar.
Yes, sir.
Why is that on your calendar? That seems pretty.
I'm a structured guy.
No shit.
No, it's not. People can't see this, by the way. Just like
it's private.
People cannot see this. This is private.
This is private. It's not private anymore. People can hear it now. It's not private.
People can hear it. I really don't care. Read a book. So I have 3 different books laying around right here.
All right, what are we reading?
I have Turning the Flywheel. Our CEO Manny Medina gave this to us. I've read it 1.5 times now. I'm still going
Manny,
through the
if you're listening, Brennan's read your book 1.5 times. You should get it.
And then I got I haven't started this one yet. My dad just sent it to me, but I have It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Moad, and
Papa
he's
Vaughn.
Yes, sir. He's a mindset coach, and he's training a lot of the professional athletes.
Okay.
More specifically, his biggest influence to date is Russell Wilson. So
he
really teaches about positive mindset and like overcoming negative thinking.
Wow. Cool.
Well, let me take that back. No, it's more about neutral thinking, not positive or negative. That's where you break through and see the most results in life. That's like what I've gotten out of it so far, from like just the back page and the cover. But I need to dive into that one. So the next thing is eat or drink. So I'll make some food and
eat or drink. I'll
make some food, or I will have like a shake in the morning. So. Dude, I have like a very like tight knit process. Sometimes, I have like a meeting running in the morning, so I have to do that first.
Yeah.
Like if a guy's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. I got to wake up and like kind of introduce the prospect. So there might be some variances in my morning, but that's just what I do for my morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mondays and Fridays, I have in my calendar for like finances. I'll check like the stock market, my portfolio, like see how I'm doing, see what bills I need to pay.
Dang.
But when we talk about SDR calendar blocking, that's what I really want to get into. SDR calendar blocking is very, very important. You want to have specific days and times where you're doing specific things. So majority of my day in the middle of the day is calling, because people are picking up the phones during work hours, especially now with everyone being at home. Their cell phones are right next to them, which is fantastic. I've been getting a lot of connects. Shout out to Zoom Info for having a lot of mobile phone numbers in
Zoom
there.
Info. Did you hear that? We use Zoom Info too. Big fan.
Well, have you noticed like the influx of mobile phone numbers getting uploaded there?
I have not.
Yeah, it's been a real treat.
Now we know.
It's been a real treat. Yeah, you should be checking.
Candy for the Vaughn.
But in terms of calendar blocking for myself, and I think a lot of SDRs should do this if you want a structured process, is really set hour blocks aside for what you want to do each day. You can do this for the whole month, or you can do this every Sunday prior to the week starting.
Yeah.
So after my morning routine of what I just explained, I'll go into sequencing and account research. And what that consists of is really just finding information on new accounts I haven't touched yet, finding new leads to go after.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm going to be calling for like literally the majority of the day. And sometimes I'll prep before a cold call, right? Like I'll prep like 1 to 2 minutes and then make the call, because I want to have this pitch like ready to go.
Yeah.
So I want to read up on the account real quick, and then make that dial. And then towards the end of the day, a lot of my calendar blocks look like account researching and sequencing again.
Okay.
So just to bring it all back together. So, beginning of the day, I'm finding new leads, finding accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the day, I'm calling mostly. I'm calling like almost all day long. And then towards the end of the part of the day, I am, doing account research and finding new leads again for the next day.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I think that wraps up prioritization, which was key to success number 1. All right, key to success number 2, which I don't even remember what was. You had 3. We got through 1.
Mindset.
Okay. Mindset. Talk to me.
So I think I just mentioned with affirmation cards, that's one thing that I've picked up over the course of working at Outreach and just being in Seattle. Ken Amar was big on this and influencing me to do this. But
Okay.
Ken Amar is an SDR manager at Outreach, and he would every morning walk around and put a different affirmation card on everyone's desk.
That is cool.
Yeah, so we would read it, and it would like just be like a positive thought, like, you know, it's pretty in depth. Like it's a pretty in depth thought, and it's really just to like drive some positive thinking and some
And
motivation for the day.
would he write these personally for you?
No, it was
Okay.
it was a affirmation card set that he bought
Okay.
like on Amazon.
Okay, gotcha. Wow,
But I have my own
I
set.
thought he would like write a positive thing about every rep every day. That would be cool.
I have my own cards. I'm actually looking at them right now, though. I have a set of 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I can give you an example. So one of them is, I strive to be 1% better today than I was yesterday. Another one that I have is, let's see. Oh, here's one that gets the mind going. I am the best SDR in the world.
That's tight. I like that.
That's powerful, isn't it?
I mean,
imagine if you told yourself that every morning.
That's pretty it's pretty, I don't know what it'd do for me, to be honest. But if it does something for you, it does something for you. It gets you in that, in that like killer mindset, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, with being an SDR, man, there's so many negative thoughts, so many negative things going on. So many no's throughout the day.
Yeah.
Reschedules. Oh my gosh, reschedules are horrible, dude. I absolutely hate when a prospect reschedules.
Oh, the worst.
So just like being able to stay balanced as much as possible, before making calls, I'll go through these again.
Really?
And just remind myself, like, I'm good at this job. I can do it.
That's awesome.
And I'm ready to go. Like, I just feel good.
That's so good. That's so
good.
Just
one. So that's one thing I do for mindset. I think mindset is definitely super important for the role in general. There's so many, like I said, there's so many negative things going on in the world today, and it can be so easy to like not make that call because you're so psyched out about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I already called this guy 3 times.
Yeah.
I already sent him 4 emails. He hasn't responded. So
yeah,
I think another thing to do is really to exercise as much as possible. I was really keen on this when I first started the role because I was very stressed. I was working too much. So I would pick up boxing.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to boxing classes probably every day, if not every other day.
Boxing's awesome.
I would do that to really take my mind off the job and relieve some stress.
Yeah.
This job brings us so much stress, man. It's like you need to find a hobby that is hopefully exercise specific.
Yeah.
And it'll really alleviate you from all of the negative thinking that comes with the job.
That's huge. I haven't thought a lot about exercise as it relates to negative thinking, and I think that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think after a really tough workout, you feel good about yourself. The endorphins are kicked in.
Yep.
You're ready to go. There was a few days I went to CrossFit with Ken Amar and a few other colleagues of mine, and we went at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I go back to the apartment, shower, go into work, and I was ready to go, man. I was happier than ever. I was having great conversations with prospects. It's because the endorphins are going, the blood's flowing.
Yep.
And you're just ready to go for the day. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm not opposed to getting back into that because it was a great time.
Very cool.
And then I would say another thing for mindset, Mark, would be to this is something that I learned from, Josh Braun's and the Chris Voss's, but like, don't focus on the outcome of the call. I've learned this the hard way because I have psyched myself out before on calls, like thinking of like what they could say.
Yeah.
What could they do?
Yeah.
What if they told me this? What if they told me that? What am I going to say? Just make the call and talk to them and see where the conversation goes. Try to navigate it as best as possible. And what I mean by don't think about the outcome is a lot of SDRs that I've talked to, including myself, you'll experience this. Right before you click call or dial, you're going to start having a bunch of thoughts going through your head of what they're going to say when they pick up and what the outcome of the call is going to be. So like if I'm going to call you, Mark, I'm like, my mindset's going to be like, oh my gosh, what's he going to say? Can I book this meeting? I don't know if I can book this meeting. I don't know if I can do it. Can I do it? I don't know. That's where the positive affirmations come in. And like, I'm self-aware of like the negative thoughts that are coming to me.
Yeah.
And just like really dropping the ball on the outcome and focus on like how I can help the prospect is something that I've been trying to focus on primarily over the last few weeks and months.
Wow.
And it's really helped. It's really helped because I've been having better conversations. And yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're so far above me in that category that it's kind of hard to. I think it's awesome. Like to go in depth. Here's what I really think. You're really aware of the feelings that are and the mindset that you're having, because to take a step back to make a decision to go through all of this and write your cards and do this and do that, you have to understand that there's something on the backside. There's something in your mind that's causing negative thoughts. If you're not even there, then you can never get to where you're at. And what I think is cool is not only have you gotten to the point of awareness that there's these things going on, but now you have a full process to like handle it every day. And that's like, I think that's pretty huge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very self-aware of like some of the things that I do. I mean, obviously I'm not perfect. I have some flaws. I mean, and when I get those flaws brought up to me, it's okay. How can I address those? How can I be better at them? You know what I mean? That's the mindset that I take.
Yeah.
And, when I first started realizing of the negative thoughts that come with the job and like self-doubt, I was like, okay, what can I do to stop this? Because I don't like it. And I love the product that I'm helping sell and setting meetings. And but I didn't like the self-doubt of it because I'm a very confident guy and I was having negative thoughts throughout the day. And that really comes with all the no's that we experience, right? Like
it's real.
We're not this role gives you more no's than any other role in the world, I think. Could you name one other like career that has more no's?
I don't know, maybe selling solar door to door, but that's still sales. So
okay.
But then you gotta walk to each door. Is that
what you were doing?
No, I've never sold solar, but or like no, I don't know. It's hard. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's friggin' hard. It's hard.
What are you doing? What are you doing to manage the mindset, Mark?
I do a lot of exercise. I think underline, that's what I do. But I'm not a really negative guy. Like I don't think negatively very often. But I do get into negative thinking in the SDR world, and I tell you what I don't do is I don't do the affirmation stuff, and that's definitely something that I want to start doing. That's tight.
Yeah, and I would say I don't know if you're a big goal setter, but I like to set goals based on like weekly and monthly, but a lot of these affirmations on the cards are aligned with some of the goals that I have for myself too. So just like kind of daily reminders more so than not.
Yeah.
For the goals that I want to accomplish. That's pretty huge as well. So keep in mind like what you want to write on the cards if you do that.
Very cool. So what's number 3? You had prioritization, mindset.
Yep.
What's number 3?
Yep. Number 3 for me on keys to success in my role here at Outreach so far, I would say is learning from the people before me.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. So when I first started in the actual SDR role, not the internship, I had a mentor. His name was Ryder. He's still my mentor today. I synced up with him today, actually.
Very cool.
And you want to find someone that excelled prior to you.
Okay.
And the reason behind that, Mark, is because that will get you to a much farther place faster.
Yeah. I'm tracking.
So Ryder is actually an SDR at Outreach for like 9+ months before I came on board.
Okay.
And he was consistently hitting quota and exceeding.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come on board and learn from him and replicate what he was doing well.
Yeah.
And what he really taught me the most was emailing and talk tracks on the phones and the workflow of an SDR.
Yeah.
Because that's very important as well, right? Like structuring your days and knowing what to do when.
Yeah.
Like I got to shadow him and he really just like broke it down for me, broke down the whole role and explained to me how he was very successful in the role he was in. So, and I replicated like a lot of the things that he does.
Yeah.
And, first month in the role after learning from him was, exceeding quota. Like, what do you expect? Like,
that's cool.
I learned from him specifically.
Yeah. And what are your conversations like with him today? Like now that you've been in the role for a while, like what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, so he actually got promoted, which is exciting. He's an account executive now, closing some emerging deals.
Very cool.
The conversations today with him are more along the lines of like promotion tracks of how I can get to the next level. How can I, get to that account executive role and close some deals? Because I would say a lot of SDRs are, they want to go that route. They want to close some deals. They know the SDR role is not a lifelong career. It's definitely a grind. So I want to say they want to get out of it as fast as possible. But, for me specifically, I'm a closer through and through. Like I'm a guy who, gets the job done. I'm an executor. And, the conversations I'm having with Ryder today are along the lines of like, how can I best prepare myself for this account executive position? So what can I do now to get started? So some of the feedback that he's given me is like, listen to some calls on Chorus.
Yeah, sure.
They understand how a deal cycle works.
Yep.
Listen to some of the talk tracks that the account executives are using now, so you can start implementing them in your cold calls or even like your own mini discovery calls if you get into a deep conversation with the prospect. And he's really helping me out from that standpoint. And then, we're just aligned as good mentors because we have the same mindset, I feel like, and the same like values.
Yeah.
And we're both direct and we're both forward thinking as well.
That's cool.
So that's what those conversations look like today. I would just say like if you're a newer SDR and you're getting into the role, you need to find someone that is superior in the role already or graduated that role to an account executive or CSM, whatever it is.
Yeah. And
learn from them specifically. Like literally sync up with them as much as possible and just shadow them. So there's a guy who just came on board. His name's Jordan. He came over from High Spot and he's now at Outreach. He is literally syncing up with me, Kyle, Carrie, and one other person potentially, I'm not sure. And he's just learning from us because he knows that we can get the job done and he knows that we have good workflows.
Yeah. Very cool. You're prodigy. So how do you go about finding
a little too far?
How do you go about finding a mentor? Like what was your process to do that?
Well, I would say
not
outreach.
everyone's so like, forward and upfront, and we'll just go ask someone to follow them around and teach them what to do.
Mm-hmm. I would say I was pretty fortunate enough to have Ryder reach out to me. He actually heard one of my cold calls as an intern.
No way.
He heard one of my cold calls. I booked a meeting as an intern, and he's like, yeah, this guy has what it takes. If I'm going to, at Outreach, we have this mentorship program.
Very cool.
And the senior SDR, like once you're 3 to 6 months in, you get matched up with the newer person in the company.
Okay.
And Ryder didn't have one yet, and he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
And I think that was because he was waiting for he's honestly waiting for like the right person to mentor, because he wanted someone that was like that had the motivation, that had the energy and the drive to get the job done. And like he heard my call. I was like 5 weeks into the internship, and he's like, yeah, I want to coach this guy up. So I was fortunate enough that Ryder approached me actually.
That's very cool.
He's been doing a good job ever since. So yeah, did I answer your question there?
No, yeah, you definitely did. No, just kidding. Man, there's so much gold that you shared. All right, so I want to ask a question. Like, besides outreach, like what are your favorite tools to use?
Ooh. There's one tool I just came across recently, and I signed up for it. It's called Cheetah Iq. You ever heard of it?
No. I like cheetahs though.
So
I like Cheetos too. I mean, can't go wrong with this tool already.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, John Farmer, he tagged me in this post on LinkedIn the other day. And this post was along the lines of like, if you're an enterprise SDR AE, comment on this and or message me, and I will do some account research for you with my platform called Cheetah Iq. So something along the lines of that. And I hit up the guy, sent him an account that I have. He sent me a whole document back with in like an hour or two, 10K reports, job postings, podcasts that some prospects were on. What else was on it? Like all these different things about an account that I could use with my research. So I was like, whoa, that was kind of fast. I wonder how he did that, because my account research, takes quite a bit of time.
Like,
I want to dive into it and like get some good nuggets. So I hit him back up, had a call with him. So he has this platform that essentially scrubs the internet for you.
Okay.
And based on a search that you do. So you throw in the account name, and then you throw in like a prospect name, and then it does this like very detailed search on the internet, and it scrubs together all on one platform for you to see very easily. Job postings, podcasts, blogs, anything related to like the industry that you're in. So if you're selling IT services and you're trying to sell to outreach, like you can put outreach in, and you can like type in keywords and like a prospect's name, and it's going to pull like a bunch of information, and it just really makes the account researching process super, super clean.
That's awesome.
Accessible.
I mean, all right. Never heard of it. Psyched. What else?
Owler.
Okay. What does Owler do again? I forgot.
Owler gives you information on competitors of an account.
Okay.
That's one tool I like to use because we're pretty saturated in this. Outreach is pretty saturated in the software and IT and those spaces right now. But we do have some non-ICP, non-target accounts that the enterprise reps have. So and we do have some customers in those spaces. It's very tough to know like who our customers are in those spaces when we're going after a new account. Sure. So I'll use Owler to understand who the competitors are and see if we have current customers in that space that I can reference.
Okay. Very
and that makes it so when I get on a call with a prospect or write an email, like I'll put that in the subject line, or I'll drop that in my pitch to them.
Very cool. Awesome. What else?
Let's see. Grammarly. Huge Grammarly fan.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. What else? Love it.
Sendoso.
Okay.
There. Now we're talking same language.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you guys use Sendoso?
Yeah.
Or
So
how do you use it in specific?
yeah, I'm using Sendoso right now. If I have a meeting set up with a prospect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them a lunch or a like an Uber gift card,
Very
like
cool.
roughly, a day or two before, just to confirm,
Yeah.
entice them to like, we still want to chat with you.
Yeah. Get them to show
And
up.
yeah, my buddy Keegan Otter, he was at Outreach. He left for a closing role, but he kind of started that trend. So I'll give him a quick shout out for that. But we saw some good success with it. People were, obviously as an SDR, you want to be able to sell the value and have them show up. But like at the end of the day, people have, when that time comes around for that meeting, they're like,
it's an extra
should
nudge.
I do it? Should I do it? All right, he sent me a gift card. I'll show up and see what they got. You know what I mean?
Do you ever use it for like net new prospecting, like people that you haven't talked to before?
Yeah, I did it last month. I got a meeting off of it. $25 Uber Eats card.
$25? Dude.
Yeah.
I'd take a meeting for $25.
Maybe I should start sending more then, huh?
You kidding
You're
me?
You're validating it.
Who's not going to take a meeting for $25? No, just kidding. A lot of people who make a lot more money than me.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that would not take a meeting.
That's cool. All right. Sendoso. What else?
Oof. I mean, I would say Zoom Info is a great tool. Like you got to have Zoom Info.
And that's
like
where
if you're not
you
using
get your mobiles and everything.
Yeah. If you don't have Zoom Info, I don't know what you're doing. Like you need to rethink your sales process.
Oh, dang. Big shout out to Zoom Info right there.
I have some buddies who work there too.
Yeah,
great product.
It's great. I've used a couple other ones. Super happy. I love.
What were some ones that you were using?
I think at one point I had like demoed like Lead IQ or something like that.
Okay, I've heard of Lead IQ. Actually, someone internally here at Outreach was using that for a little bit, and they absolutely loved it. So I might have to try that out if you recommend it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't super recall using it.
Okay.
We have been like kind of trying Lusha, but I feel like it's better for the guys that are in the UK and in one of my guys in Australia. I'm not finding like that it's super great, but yeah, Zoom Info I think is killer. What else? Do you use like are you a Vidyard guy?
Funny that you ask. The same guy, Keegan Otter, one of my buddies.
Big boy.
He was bringing on BombBomb. He was trying to bring on BombBomb. We were doing a trial with them for a little bit, and I used BombBomb for like a month. Great tool.
Yeah.
I think in terms of where we're at as a organization though, and what we're doing, it just kind of took too much time out of the day to send those personalized videos. I think it would be great to have like a lot of evergreen videos saved,
and
maybe even like have our exec leadership make the videos, and like we send them in sequences.
Yeah. Okay.
So how fire would that be
to like automate it more, kind of? Or
yeah. I think making the video right there on the spot, kind of like. I would only use it for like super hot prospects.
Yeah.
Like and good follow-ups. And we only used it for like a few weeks. I think if we used it longer, we definitely would have seen an ROI out of it.
Yeah.
I know they're pretty saturated in the real estate space. I love the video aspect. It's getting the team members and some managers aligned with the video prospecting.
Yeah. I've tried it and I don't think it's my thing. I don't know. I haven't got a lot of success out of it, but I know people do.
It was my thing. I think it was it just wasn't on our roadmap of initiatives.
Yeah.
For like testing it out.
I think there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of tools.
So many tools.
You can, I mean, is there anything else that's like big for you that you used? It's like helping you achieve success.
I mean, are we being biased here?
Well, yeah. Are you gonna say outreach? I mean, we're outreach users too, and
Yeah.
I mean, I've been an outreach fan since the beginning.
I didn't think this was an outreach commercial, but yeah, I am a huge advocate of outreach.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
No, like honestly, like if I were to backtrack a little bit, I've had a few internships where I was using CRMs and Excel sheets.
Yep.
And it was an absolute nightmare now that I think about it. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you're in the moment and you're doing that process, it's like, what's better?
Yeah.
Like this is what's given to me. But going down a list and then manually having to like write what happened after the call,
Yeah.
left a voicemail. He told me to follow, and then write in the notes like, or he told me to follow up in a few weeks, and then like having to mark the Excel sheet like green and yellow and red, like because my manager wanted me to do it.
Yeah.
And then going to the CRM and like having to log everything in my notes.
Unbelievable. Dinosaur.
It was an absolute nightmare. And then on top of that, at this internship, I was there was a lead list, and we'd go down the list 3 times in the whole week, and then we ditched the lead list.
Later.
I don't know how organizations are operating without sales engagement today. It really blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know because I've talked to so many people now, and I've
Totally.
experienced it myself. But if there definitely was one tool, Mark, if I were to go and start my own business tomorrow,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would do it without sales engagement.
Oh.
Not just outreach. I'm just saying sales engagement in general.
Yeah, totally. I 100% agree. It's a no-brainer. So I have like maybe one or two more questions, but so like what's kind of like your goal, like moving forward? Like what are some of your goals? Like where do you want to be, kind of in the next year, 2 years, maybe 5 years? And yeah, what does that look like?
Yeah, for me, let's start with the 1 year mark. I mean, here at Outreach, we have a 1 year rule of being an SDR.
Really?
So,
So you have to be there for a year.
yeah, they really are strict on that, and that's for very good reasons.
Sure.
They want you to understand the product and the process and the
Mhm.
company and like the vision that they have for being a closer.
Yeah.
Totally fine. I'm fair game with that. I can do that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm about 9 or 10 months in. I've started having conversations, with some managers there. So being a closer is definitely on my horizon here in the next few months.
All right.
That's where I see myself. And I just know it's a good segue. It's a very good segue for the SDR to go to that closing role because you're building a foundation for yourself. For one, you're getting product knowledge. You're understanding the challenges that customers are having.
Yeah.
For two. And then for three, you're really learning a lot of basic fundamentals of the account executive position.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
It just overall, it's just a great segue to get to that next point because being in the SDR, you're experiencing all the no's, all the objections, all the ways to overcome these objections, the talk tracks, and negotiation. Like, believe it or not, SDRs are negotiating for time. We're negotiating for time.
Yeah.
Now you have to find a way to negotiate with price and contracts.
Yeah.
And timelines and all those things. So,
sure. Cool.
Yeah, man. So the 1 year mark for sure is coming up here soon. So I would say the closing roles, like I said, on my horizon to be there soon. June,
cool.
July, August timeframe. If it had to get pushed out farther, I'm totally fine with that given the current state of the economy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now when I think long term, Mark, I'm thinking 3 to 5 years out, I want to be obviously a top account executive.
Very cool.
And to go back to like what I was talking about earlier with my parents, they really instilled entrepreneurship in me though,
Yeah,
at a very
totally.
young age. So, long-term thinking, 100% start my own business or buy a business and
Very cool.
call the shots. That's just who I was, who I am,
Yeah,
who I'm going
totally.
to be. You know what I mean? Like that's just like how I operate as a person.
Yeah.
Um, I as an SDR right now, I kind of think of it as like running my own business, running my own thing, but like also getting insight and feedback and following some processes that have been handed to me to do.
Yeah. Well, and I think the entrepreneur in you is part of what drives you to try new things and do things that are out of the box or
Yeah,
different than
I
what
would
other
agree.
people are doing. I think that's a huge component of a really good SDR.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that for sure. So that's my timeline if I had to choose. But I could
That's
watch this
cool.
video in 5-10 years and be like, what was I talking about?
Dude, hey, life is crazy. If I told you that I would have gone from being an SDR to living like van life to shoveling snow off roofs to God knows what to then being an SDR again, I'd be a dead man.
Shoveling roofs. Uh,
Story for another time.
yeah, we can talk about that some other time, Mark.
Yeah, I want to finish up with, is there any advice that you'd give, someone who's coming into the role, um, you know, just quick advice, maybe one or two things that they should be doing, they should watch out for, to really like be as successful as someone like yourself.
Yeah, I think the first thing, first and foremost, I think we already touched on this, but find that one person.
Yeah.
And if you can't find them, ask your direct manager to find them for you. Find that one
That's cool.
person that you can shadow off the bat that was an absolute killer.
That's cool.
I mean, it doesn't have to just. I mean, even if someone's like struggling, right? Like I was struggling a little bit with the whole COVID objection. So what did I do? I went to someone who wasn't struggling.
Very cool.
So find those people that are going to be absolute killer, were absolute killers, or still absolute killers in your organization, and shadow them for the first few weeks. Learn what they're doing. Learn everything about emailing, cold calling, talk tracks, you name it. Do that. I think the second thing though is hit the phones heavy. Cold calling is not dead. People at Outreach are going to laugh if they hear this right now, but I'm a big advocate of hitting the phones, and that cold calling is not dead. In fact, it was actually one of my taglines on LinkedIn for a little bit. It's kind of funny, but I took it off because when I was adding prospects, it probably turns them off a little bit. That cold calling is not dead. That's the first thing they see.
Hey, maybe. I don't know.
So I would say, one, for sure, find that one guy or girl
that
can help you. Two, hit the phones heavy. Learn from the failures and just get into conversations with prospects. If you're not cold calling, your competitors are.
That's tight. Well, dude, it's been so much fun just chatting, and you have a wealth of information inside this guy, and you're going to be doing amazing things, whether it's in 10 years having your own business or being the number one account executive. Like, man, I think the biggest thing, like just listening to you, is that your head's in the right place. Like, if I had to break down everything you just said, like the number one thing that I took away was like every day when you're coming in, you're having the mindset of a killer. Like I'm going to be the best. Like telling yourself that is huge. And so, man, you're awesome. We're going to sign off now, but hey, you the man.